if you think about your home page and as your lobby, as your organization's lobby, you control the look and feel of your lobby. You would no more have somebody bring in their favorite lamp and put it in your lobby than any other crazy business decision. You're going to control that space on your home page, and yet the home page is out of touch, is out of control all the time as interlopers gain space. Someone important, someone who's a practice group leader, for example, but who's off message demands to have a spot on that home page. Someone with news to share that's not central. It's very common to see, for example, if labor and employment practice, we're very frequently the most active publishers in a law firm, have newsletters, and they're actively publishing, and they want that on that home page. But that practice may not be central to the firm's strategic goals. Then that news is on the home page, taking space away from what is otherwise central and critical. False friends who are pushing their agenda, folks who just come up from behind, tap you on the shoulder, and want to get space on that home page. All of these individuals are interlopers. So Bound's website has obviously been overrun by interlopers who have grabbed all a piece of that home page. So you've got meddlers, folks that are off message, time wasters, folks that are off goal, my buddies, etc. So the first thing I want to do is control the real estate on each page and use it to articulate the brand position and get the mess off. I don't want to allow interlopers to intrude. And then I want the website itself to reflect strategic goals on every page, not just the home page. So what we typically see behind the beautiful home page, behind the beautiful lobby, is this kind of disaster throughout a website. And it's in fact a fairly dramatic fall off. I showed this last week, and I thought I'd show it again, because the fall off from the home page to these secondary pages is so dramatic. It means that these pages are not working for the reader. So we've essentially stopped selling, stopped making our case, stopped creating a dialogue, stopped proving that we're important in this particular circumstance, and yet, as we said last week, here's 130 intellectual property lawyers, which is a good-sized law firm in and of itself. So, better approach, create a dialogue, focus on who you're selling to, not yourself. So as Bound is redesigned, it's redesigned around those individuals whom Bound serves. And each section is a portal where you go into, you'll get information for deal makers. You'll notice also that we feature most popular searches here as well. So the market message, who we're selling to, and what we're all about, crystal clear on the home page, and you still have room to sell Virtual Bound, the Deal Room Express, which is an important feature that Bound offers to their clients. So here's another site out of control. This is the largest human resource organization in the world, SHRM. And here you can see that this website's completely out of control. The navigation goes down and down and down on this particular site. All of the home page is taken over by news. But in my mind, news is a false currency. It's current, it's true, but people really are not interested in your news unless it really relates to them and you can make a case as to how it is related to them. But typically the news that you've got on your website is of interest to you and almost no one else. So as the site was redesigned, you saw that you could see that we have featured now a central story on the home page, and we've managed to drive that story style deep into the site itself. So here you are further into the site in terms of HR disciplines, where you've got the same look and feel carried through throughout the entire site. Navigation's been simplified dramatically. You've got those stories that are featured on that home page, on those secondary home pages. Okay, create a dialogue. Tell stories and illustrate them. It's what marketing is all about. We've been looking at just remind us as we're looking at different strategies for making a home page or a site effective. Telling stories is perhaps the most important. People want to put you in context. It's kind of interesting in science. They would never, you look at this particular formula that says E equals MC squared, and there's no doubt but that's true. You don't know how that they come up with that study, but you know it's true. And if somebody came and said E equals MC cubed, you wouldn't fall down out of your chair laughing because it's provable or disprovable. It's science. But people demand that stories be put, relationships have a narrative context that creates empathy and is evocative. That's the way the brain works, the way the mind works. So if it's not science and it's about relationships, relationships occur through telling stories. So here's a redesign of the World Wildlife Fund site. Their famous their iconic logo of the panda, but it's actually that panda was causing them problems because people thought that the World Wildlife Fund was all about fuzzy panda bears and animals and not about the social context where those animals live. So ironically, the logo itself is forcing viewers into a different understanding than the World Wildlife Fund wants you to have. They want you to understand the ecosystems wherein animals live, and they understand that the only way to save these animals is to save the ecosystem, have people have jobs, or the animals are doomed anyway. But once again, another site out of control. Everybody's got a piece of the home page. It's everywhere and anywhere. So bringing that under control forced us to look at several key features. What we're trying to do, well, we wanted to focus on the 18 issues, the 18 core issues that the World Wildlife Fund focuses on, these different places. You notice that on this picture here, we're not showing animals as the first thing that we see, but we're showing people where the animals live. In context, there's a globe that's on the right that turns if you go to the site. And the control of the home page, now the home page is really brought under control where the most important messages are served up as the client wishes them to have. So the next thing to do in terms of creating a dialogue, transform substantive data from text to visuals. There's a picture is worth 1,000 words. We're brought up in high school thinking that someone tells us I want a 500-word paper on this, or in college I want a 10-page paper on this particular thing, but it's all around words. But that's not really the way people receive information. If you go to this page of the Wall Street Journal, what everyone is doing on this call right now is scanning that paper to find out what they want to read, if there's anything that interests them or where they want to go or turn the page. And the scanning mind, the scanning reader, is who's in charge. Therefore, you need to design for the scanning reader, and that means images, charts, and graphs,